and he is running for Assistant Secretary.
Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
I should have brought my trombone. We could have had a jam session. Before I get started, I want to ask, who is excited to welcome Donald Trump back to Georgia in 1 week from today? I tell you what, when I got that news, I was at work, and I had co-workers 3 doors down come to check on me because I was screaming so loud I could not believe the news. Now, I do need to apologize to you about 2 things this morning. The first thing is I'm a little bit brain dead this morning. Not AOC type brain dead, but brain dead in the sense that I only had about 5 hours of sleep last night. So any minute now, my 3 cups of coffee are going to kick in, and I'll be like the squirrel from Hoodwinked. But until that time, you'll have to bear with me. And the second thing I apologize for is I'm actually a little bit outside my comfort zone today. Usually I'm in blue jeans and boots, but my wife and I are going to a wedding later this afternoon. I was born and raised in Columbus, Georgia. Graduated from Jordan Vocational High School 2015, and I went to Cleveland, Georgia to attend classes at Truett McConnell University at Southern Baptist College. When I graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Music Education, I decided to stay in White County. I fell in love with the area. My family's from there, and I love it up there. And it was kind of fortuitous because I met the love of my life a few years later, who was gracious enough to come with me today, and has actually been the backbone behind me this whole process. And I'm very grateful for her. Shortly after I graduated high school, my freshman year of college, my grandfather, who was a World War II veteran, and I started talking about some of the issues that we were facing as a nation under Barack Obama. And one day my grandfather told me, he said, "James, I enjoy these talks, but you need to stand up and do something about it." And so shortly thereafter, I was actually, without talking to them first, approached by somebody in the Gwinnett County Republican Party about starting a Young Republican chapter. And so I created Young Republicans of Northeast Georgia in 2017. I served as the parliamentarian of the Gwinnett County Republican Party in 2020, and as Assistant Secretary of the 9th District campaign starting in 2020. In 2021, I was serving as a substitute teacher in White County, and one classroom I was in one day, there was a flyer on the teacher's desk for an organization called Warriors for Social Justice. And I approached the assistant principal of the school that day with my concerns about that, and she said, no, it's okay. It's an informal discussion group. They're not even meeting at school. About a week later, I was serving at the middle school, and I saw the flyer again, and I said, well, this is obviously more than just an informal discussion group. And I went to the principal of that school. This was on a Thursday. I went and subbed at another school the next day. That following Monday, I got a call that I was being put on unpaid investigative leave. And I was fired by that Friday. So after I was fired, I was telling a friend of mine about what I had found and what had happened, and she said, you need to look more into this. This group thankfully left the information about a Google Classroom they had set up, and I went and I looked at it and just found so much documentation about this group and what they were doing and how they were using school resources to push this covert agenda. So I did what I thought was the next reasonable step, and I went and approached the school board about it. And I will say the Republican-led school board. All 5 members are supposedly Republicans. And at that point, I was immediately defamed and slandered, and I have never faced the amount of harassment or threats that I've faced. Even my wife faced harassment and threats in a county that voted 85% for Donald Trump in 2020. It was the most stressful time of my life. We started carrying a gun around that time, and I'm an NRA, well, I was an NRA certified instructor, but I had not carried a gun before that time. I decided that since the school board wasn't doing anything about it, that I would run for school board. And the threats and the harassment got worse. And because I qualified to run for school board, I resigned at that time from being the chairman of Young Republicans in Northeast Georgia, and my positions with the Gwinnett County Republican Party and the 9th District. After that very stressful and contentious school board meeting, I wasn't quite sure what to do next in life. Like I said, I graduated from the Southern Baptist College. My faith was very important for me, and I just could not see what the next step was that God had me to do. And we prayed about it. We spent a long time in prayer. And God unexpectedly opened the door for me to go into ministry. I'm currently a minister of music and of youth. And when I went into ministry, I kind of took a step back from politics. But I was telling my youth members, we were talking about Ephesians, this has been several months ago now, we were talking about the armor of God. And we were discussing about what it means to be a salt and a light upon the earth, and how Christ tells us to go and to engage with the culture around us. And with many Christians, there's a stipulation that politics is a dirty thing, the politics is of the world, and would this be better? All right. The politics is of the world, and that it's not something as Christians we're supposed to engage in. But that's simply not true. Our nation is the greatest nation on earth because of the godly wisdom that our founding fathers had. It's because of the themes of the Bible that are imbued within the Constitution that we have the liberties and the freedoms that we have today. And so, following the example of Christ, following the example of Paul, I knew I could not sit on the sidelines any longer. And so once again, my wife and I prayed long and hard about it. We actually started praying in November, and we prayed up until about 2 weeks before the end of the qualifying period to run. And at that time, we were in our bedroom watching TV, and my wife very unexpectedly said, "James, do it." I said, "Do what?" Because it just came out of the blue, and she said, "Run. Run. This country, with everything going on, with the raid at Mar-a-Lago, with the indictment of Donald Trump, be the light. Be the example for our youth members." And so I may not win this election, but I'm going to try. And if I do win, I promise you this. I'm going to work hard to unite our party. I'm going to work hard to give county chapters the resources and the support that they need, because I have heard from so many county chapters who have said that they don't even get phone calls returned from the state, and emails just go ignored. County chapters are saying that they have voter registration that's more than 10 years old. That's unacceptable. And then I'm going to do what I can to give the grassroots, the 6 recognized affiliate organizations, greater representation, so that we are working together to make Georgia red again, to take back our state, and to take back America, because I believe what happens in Georgia in 2024 will shape the future of our nation, and we cannot afford to let this nation go to the left any longer. I'm James King, and I hope to have your support when we convene in 1 week from today. Thank you.